Morning. How y'all doing today? Well, my name's Tom, and well, I'm just a rambling Christian. If this is the first time you've been here, please stick around. We look at things a little different around here. And typically, I like to ramble before I get started. So, now it's been it's been one heck of a week. Don't give you any idea. My brother-in-law should be getting out of ICU today. So, been a week. But you know, I tell you, the Lord of this world is not God. Uh, Not at all. It's not how it works. Man is a spirit. Let us create man in our image. They are trying to take the spirit and make it like them. Uh, and this world, man, spirit, wanted a king. Uh, and Samuel made them a king. Made them a king. And Samuel made them a king. Uh, Now, this was when Samuel was old. He put two judges, his sons, and they rule over Bathsheba. But anyway, the Lord of this world is like Jesus is a king. That's a man given title. And I mean man in the spirit, not God. Lords and kings are not gods. That you asked for a man to be over you. A man is a spirit. We covered that many times. Adam's feet had never touched the earth. The earth, the land you till, is flesh. Okay? So, Adam is the spirit inside the flesh. Two different people, individuals. And Paul covers this in the New Testament. Where there is a physical body, there is also a spiritual body. This is fact. You can't separate those two. It takes two to make one. It says so. So if you want to claim truth, it has to follow through the whole book. You can't pick and choose. You have to validate all things. It has to match throughout. But hold on, this could be ICU. Yeah, I was a doctor. His blood pressure's falling. But anyway, so I've covered it before, where the Lord of this world, there's a difference. There's a king, there's a Lord, and we're going to cover a little bit of that here, and it's all decked out right here in front of our face. The problem is it's so hard. We chalk it up to almost mythology. You know, we claim a history that truly doesn't exist. Now it's a flesh. There's a history of the flesh, and there's a history of the spirit, the fallen. Uh, Now there are some sent that come, but in First Chronicles 16, this is this, and then I want to look at something in First Samuel 8. Now it says here in 26, for all the gods of the peoples are idols. Here's that word that gets so many confused. They think all means just a select group of people. It doesn't include them. This is an issue with everybody. is they don't believe the words. They, that dude doesn't, no, I don't believe that crap. That's exactly how they approach it. You know, a Christian will say, that's not what God means. But this is not God. Listen to this. Now, 25. For the Lord is great and greatly to be praised. Now, I tell you, Lord is a man title. It's not a God. Okay? And it backs that up. It says he is also to be feared above all gods. We cover this in the book of the dead. The serpent, the god of this world. The gods fear him, but they receive the words and spells on how to get out. And it's right here in front of our face. Love, mercy, and understanding. No judgment. It's all right here. Came right out of the dude's mouth. Don't judge anybody. You're going to receive that judgment. It says that. But they don't believe that either. Now it says, now back to 26, it says, for all the gods of the peoples are idols, but the Lord made the heavens. But the Lord made the heavens. So two separate people in one verse. The gods and the Lord who made the heavens. And it reinforces that by honor and majesty are before him. Strength and gladness are his place. Give to the Lord, O families of the people. Give to the Lord glory and strength. Give to the Lord the glory due his name. He created it all. It is a beautiful place, truly. Is it not? I cover in the Gnostics back in, I think I wasn't even in over 100 videos yet, where the Lord of this world was ashamed at what had happened, and that he tried to strive to become a great light also. And he's really trying for that, to be a guiding light for those who had fallen also, to get them back. You know what I'm saying? When we look upon ourselves, we should be ashamed for even asking for a king. Now, I didn't ask for a king. I don't have no kings. The Lord of this world and I, we cool. It is beautiful, but I don't want a part of it. Okay? I desire no king. You know, I tell you, the spirit of us all is the one that matters, not the one of divided spirits. Okay? A divided kingdom does not stand. Okay? I am one with thee all. They're one with the serpent, Cain, Abel, Yahweh's. All these are covered for us in this book, who these people are. Now, it says here, bring an offering and come before him. O worship the Lord in beauty and holiness. Tremble before him, all the earth. And we cover this. The beginning of wisdom is the fear of this dude, this Lord. The fear of him, the one who runs the place, the one who gives us the 10 commandments to follow. Now, can we call the 10 commandments unrighteous? in a spiritual sense. We don't condemn others. We have no other gods before the Lord of this world. We hallow him. It says that in here. Jesus tells you to honor your rulers. Those are the dude in charge of the whole place, not some dude in an office building. That's the guy who wrote the Ten Commandments, gave you the Ten Commandments to follow. So simple. I mean, man broke it down to 10, but God gave it as one command, because if you break one, you break them all. Not God, the Lord of this world, gave that. And I cannot, in righteous judgment, say they're unrighteous. I say if man lives by those, it would be a much better place. Spiritually. I condemn no man for their actions. Because within this book it says that some are just a test for you. They're not even seeking any spirituality. And we covered a Gentile. Death is their reward. So they're ticking you off. And they're making you mad against them. And you think that you can just rule over all that. You asked for a king. Now, 1 Samuel 8. Now, I know we're doing Genesis, but I really want to cover this and show you the difference between Samuel is the dude that was over the man, okay, the judge, by God, appointed by God to judge over man. Now, it came to pass, here's 8, I'm going to just start. When Samuel was old, that he made his sons judges over Israel. The name of his firstborn was Joel, and the name of his second, Abijah, or whatever, Abijah. They were judges in Beersheba. But his sons did not walk in his ways. They turned aside after dishonest gain, took bribes, and perverted justice. Now, these are the Cain and Abel. And that's not everybody here. Okay? Because it breaks it down here. Okay? It says the judges, okay? That's Cain and Abel, right? It can't be anybody else. We have to use the whole book. So Samuel, the Lord of this world, Cain and Abel, the judges of Beersheba, and that's only some. That's those who sought a bribe. What's a bribe? Well, new flesh, new earth. You get to be the only person there. You get to rule everybody else. You judge man for all that. You get to sit on thrones and all this kind of stuff. You get to control another person. That's the reward of this book, that you get to tell other people what to do. That's your bribe. Whoopee! So you want to be in charge. You want to be a king. That is your reward. But it says that, in perverted judgment, it says the Lord of this world controls both sides. He is in control of all spirits here, the flesh. Everything. Controls it all. It is his will that runs the place. But yet, some people that seek a king think they can tell other people what to do. They just take it upon themselves to tell other people how they should live their lives. Under righteous judgment, who here can guarantee who's right and who's wrong? What man can tell another man with 100% truth that he's right and they're wrong about their life? We're not talking about anything else. just about how somebody else is living their life. Nobody has walked in anybody else's shoes here. Nobody else has lived another person's life. There is not two on the planet who have done exactly the same things. There's not two who have been raised the same way. I don't care who you think you are. You're not. You're not the same as anybody else. So that doesn't give you a right to tell somebody else how to live their life. You know, not everybody's born with a silver spoon in their mouth. Not everybody gets a hunky-dory day every day. You know, some do. Some don't. But, you know, and as more things come out, we see that truth cannot be hidden. You know, we see how militarized the police force has become. And we see how through their will, they are going to control you, and in the end up being controlled. This is all civilizations fall. That's a guarantee, because man wants to be in charge. That's the spirits that are sectioned off in your religions, telling you how you should live your life. All of them. All of them. The spirit of it all did never wanted to give you a king. Okay? And but it says right here, then all the elders of Israel gathered together and came to Samuel at Ramah. And he said to them, look, you are old, and your sons do not walk in your ways. Now, make us a king to judge us like all the nations. Like all the nations. But the thing displeased Samuel when they said, give us a king to judge us. So Samuel prayed to the Lord. To the Lord. So not to the spirit, to the Lord of this world. To the dude in charge. Okay? Hey man, what do I do, man? It's so simple what you asked us to do. And here they're demanding a king, man. They're wanting a king. They don't want to listen to your word. You know, they don't want to follow. And I cover this, the simplicity of it. I just believed it. When it said all, I believed the word all. I just believed. That was it. And I do hallow the Lord of this world. The beauty before my eyes is great. And I'm not talking about just the trees and the birds. I'm talking about the people. I'm talking about those all around us that are beautiful souls that perhaps have been crushed. And a lot of those crushed have climbed high and achieved many great things. But some are still fallen. And those of us that are here and seek something greater than ourselves, that believe that we're all created from the same spirit and the same being and this part of the same entity, would want them to be taken care of as much as he wants to take care of you. And instead of walking on them to put more money in your pocket, seek every escape to pay people less money than they're worth, and then try to blame it on them that they're lazy because they can't see the slavery as you see it. And all these issues because you feel you're right and they're wrong. Prove it by the word of God. Prove that you're right because it says it's evil. It says that from the Lord of this world expects good grapes, get sour ones instead. This is his disappointment. The spirit of it all knows all truth, for all time is not contained by time. Time is a creation. Never does the spirit of us all not know where you're at. It's different for one who sets a plan in motion. Now, I'm not saying he didn't see the end of it because it's happened many times. It says that. But make us a king to judge us, okay? But the thing displeased Samuel. And the Lord said to Samuel, heed the voice of the people in all that they say to you. For they have not rejected you, but they have rejected me, that I should not reign over them. Jesus is the king, right? That you seek to rule over you. He said salvation is of the Jews, not himself. He never once claimed. He said, I came to redeem you. That means make you perfect in the Father's eyes, the one who grants mercy. He took all your sin away because the Father cannot look upon sin. But you went and you hide and you judge man from behind the lamb, claiming the lion is coming for them. Now, heed the voice of the people. Okay, according to all the works which they have done since the day that I brought them up out of Egypt. See, you were dead, gone, brought you up, gave you salvation. All you had to do was pass through this land, pass through it, and maybe train your spirit, your evil, deceitful, lion spirit, love, mercy, and understanding. That's the truth. Call evil, evil, it says. This book, to me, is 100% truth. Now, it says, brought them out even to this day. So I'm going to go to right here to this day, right here, right now, because I can see it in front of my face. No other day, right here, right now. You can see how deceitful and evil they are. Now, it says, with which they have forsaken me and served other gods. So they are doing to you also. Doing to you also, Samuel, the Lord of this world. Well, the dude in charge of the world. Not the dude who created it. The dude in charge of it. You would call that the angel over everything, I guess. The top dude. Standing at the door. Got the gate, key, and all that. For the Spirit. Now, it says, served other gods. Other gods. See, this is where they're making, that's to the flesh. A spirit is a god, right? See, this has all come up through, and we cover this. All religions for all time have it come because of this. You desire a king over you. Now therefore take heed their voice. However, you shall solemnly forewarn them and show them the behavior of the king who will reign over them, and show them the behavior. Right here in this book, right? So Samuel told all the words of the Lord to the people who asked him for a king. And he said, this will be the behavior of the king who will reign over you. Now listen. He will take your sons and appoint them for his own chariots. These are the ones. Jesus saved me. Those are the spirits. They're the donkey. Their spirits are riding. This is the chariot right here. Right? They're controlling it. I tell you, there's people here. I see them. And you know what kills me is I'm not so sure when they meet truth that it's an I don't care attitude, because I already know that I'm coming right on here and doing what I want again. You know what I'm saying? Like some of them are that awake. They know, and it's the ones in charge. It's not the little peons in the pews. That's their spirits they'll gather for themselves. I'm talking people, that come here and they gather a lot of spirits, and then perhaps the cults type situations and stuff. Like they want little pieces of their own. And the denominations, who started the denominations? Who's the spirits over each denominations and things? These are each, that's their fruit. The denomination. It's not the individuals that, it's the whole thing. It's the dude who started it, like the King James. You profess King James. So King James would be a spirit over those who profess this book as the only truth. You know what I'm saying? Paul says, don't come by way. Don't say this dude brought me or this dude brought me. And so many churches claim King James over all other instead of an American Standard or this or that. You know what I'm saying? They profess that, and it can be counted quite well. But that's an example of giving power to a man, a spirit that becomes a god. And that's granted in here. That's the whole place. That's the bribes. You get to be over tens and thousands and fifties and all that. And it says that. Yeah, listen. It says, and to be his horsemen, and some will run before his chariots. He will appoint captains over his thousands. See, these people know who they are. And captains over his fifties. And he will set some to plow his ground and reap his harvest, and some to make his weapons of war and equipment for his chariots. Man, don't you cut the weapons, Bill. And Christians will make sure that, we got it. We're going to be able to destroy everything. And then he gets his harvest. You see? We create these wars through this dude. He's got captains over thousands, captains over fifties. Those are the spirits that run that. They seek no other. They're the ones in charge of it. And they're over the spirits. Like Trump is over the spirit over, Nebuchadnezzar. I tell you, Trump is Nebuchadnezzar. And it's his son that's the evil one, though. Remember that. And It's right here in front of our face. Right here. Right now. I will change your name. It doesn't say it's going to be a different dude, though. So he's called Trump now. Whoopee. But it's the same spirit inside that's over you. He gave you to him. He said so. That's what God did. I know because Jeremiah. That's where I'm at. Now it says, he will appoint captains over, right? He will take your daughters to be perfumes. The Spirit, see, the two will be separated. To be perfumes, cooks, and bakers. And he will take the best of your fields, your vineyards, your olive groves, and give them to his servants. Vineyard, that's Christians. Olive grove, right there. And give them to his. I tell you, that's Islam. Coming your way. It's going to be more extreme. Coming your way, though. To his. I tell you, he owns Islam. He's going to give those to them. That's all through the book. And we cover that many times. He will take a tenth of your grain and your vintage and give it to his officers and servants. So a tenth of those, like I say, King James, you profess Mormonism or Pentecostal or holiness. These are the people I'm talking about that are over you. This is the dues. I will give them to you. Give it to his officers and servants. And they get those rewards. That's where they're going to be locked in. Don't seek that reward. They all come from this dude, the king that's over them. They sought this. And he will take your male servants and your female servants and your finest young men and your donkeys and put them to his work. They're evil to the core. That's this king over them. Your donkeys. See, this is all of them. This is all the religions, all the denominations. They were few to start. 48,000 different Christian denominations on the planet right now. How many more do you need? More's coming. They're breeding them. All their sons and daughters are going to be the spirits over more of that. That's the reward they seek. And it says here, and they're not even good servants, so they have to be a good servant to even get that. They'll just they'll just be back as the slaves sitting in the pew. A lot of them. It's the dudes at the front gathering all that seed that will be over them. You know what I'm saying? Again, but as a denominational, because they're breeding seeds too. It just branches out. All connected to the Lord of this world. Well, the King of this world. There's only one king, right? Now, he will take a tenth of your sheep, and you will be his servants, and you will cry out in that day because of your king, whom you have chosen for yourself. Only one king, and you've chosen him for yourself. And the Lord will not hear you in that day. So, the king you have chosen and the Lord will not hear you in that day. Two separate dudes. Now you like to say, oh, that king is, some king on the flesh. You're lying to yourself if you think that's true. Nevertheless, the people refused to obey the voice of Samuel. And they said, "No, but we will have a king over us, that we may also be like all the nations, and that our king may judge us and go out before us and fight our battles." Isn't that the whiny baby Christians? Jesus fights their battles. Our king may judge us and go out before us to fight our battles. Tell me that's not a Christian, and you're lying to yourself. And Samuel heard all the words of the people, and he repeated them in the hearing of the Lord. And the Lord said to Samuel, "Heed their voice, and make them a king." And Samuel said to the men of Israel, "Every man go to his city, then make them a king." Came on day 3. And and they chose a murderer, because this is the God of Israel, not the God of anybody else. Okay? I may have time to look at that. I have to think about it. When reading Scripture, you have to believe the words on the page to even make any kind of headway. If you're telling yourself that's not what it means, then you're lying to yourself, because you claim the book is truth. What is true? If you claim the book is truth and you're saying to yourself, that's not what it means, you're lying one way or the other. If you say it's not what it means, then you need to set it aside and get away from it, because you're already lost. There's no sense in even looking any further. That's hard, to claim a book as truth. And seeking a God, even, in truth and stuff like this. How can you seek God as an imperfect being because you claim he didn't give you truth? When he said, only those who do the will of the Father in heaven, Samuel. No, it wouldn't be. That would be Adam. Samuel would be the Father in heaven, first to rise in death. But we're spiritual beings. We don't have rulers of flesh. That's the King, Jesus, a ruler in the flesh. You desire his return in the flesh to rule over you. That's a man that can never leave. That's, his kingdom over there in Islam. See, they're not. You have no control over them. You're in a whole different world than them. Truly, a whole different dimension, world, a whole different world from them. Wow. Nothing. Only the spirits that desire a king over them go there. Not anybody else. See, to me, Samuel would be a representation of perhaps Moses. And the Lord he's speaking of is the God that brought you back out of Egypt the one that destroyed you in the first place, and gives you a second chance with Jesus. Uh, and and it's another, and Samuel is also an example of Jesus in a sense that they didn't believe, they rejected the words of Samuel and desired a king. And Jesus is telling them, you know, but you're coming with me because, well, you're not listening to me, no understanding. Uh, Peter's righteous, and yet Judas is the one who facilitated the Lord of this world's will. And he should have just rested. That would have been it. But Christians see sin all around them. So the king can never die. They desire the king. They want him to come back in the flesh. He's going to come back in the flesh, but what does it say in Samuel? He will not hear them, and neither will the Lord of this world, the one that can grant mercy upon us. Okay? No other. The one that gave us this chance is the only one that can let us out. It's not his will. It's the will of the Spirit that matters to him. See? And that's the difference between us and the one who gave you the life in what you have. Is he wants you to get home. He understands. He knows the mistake he made. How come you can't admit the mistakes you've made? May the Holy Spirit guide you. May God, the Father, the Creator of us all, protect your soul.